Hello, my friends. I know some of you are out there watching right now. This is an impromptu live video. I want to hear your questions. This is a live Q&A. Ask me anything. But also, in addition to that, I want to highlight some upcoming interviews I have on this channel and get your suggestions. What suggestions do you have? I want to hear them. I have an interview coming up with a contest queen, the contest queen, and that one is coming up next. I'm so unbelievably excited about it. She has helped people win millions of dollars. But her story is really fascinating. I have a question here from Toilet Paper Isn't Vegan, who asks, did you stop playing the lottery? Well, toilet paper is not vegan. That's the username here. Did I stop playing the lottery? I play the lottery once in a while if something inspires me, but very rarely these days. I don't play the lottery very often these days. But if I were to have a dream about it, I definitely would. But I don't normally. Hey, bro, do you say law of assumption or attraction? Sam Ahmed, thank you so much for your question, Sam. I really appreciate it. A lot of people use both of those terms, actually, law of attraction, law of assumption, and interchangeably. Some people use them, but they kind of mean two different things, sort of, but you can use them interchangeably. If you believe the theory is, if you believe something is going to happen, you live as if it already has, then you assume the law of assumption that it's going to happen, and then it does. So that's that. What's the last big money interview you did, and how much? Kush Bacardi, thank you so much for your question, Kush. The last big money interview I did, well, so I just put out an interview yesterday or the day before with someone who won a dream home worth $775,000, but this was a few years ago, so I assume that would be, worth well over $1 million by now. With inflation and such, but he's also won many other prizes. But I interview people all the time that have won prizes, various prizes, people that have overcome the odds. The largest prize winner I've interviewed is someone that's won 112 million from Mega Millions. Have you won small prizes on lottery after your big win of 28 million? Oscar, thank you so much. Thank you for your question. I really appreciate your support. It means so much to me. Thank you very much for your question. I have not won significant small prizes after the big prize, but I don't play very often either. But if I have a dream about it, you can bet I'm going to be playing. So let's see. Do you have synchronicities before winning? DeMello asks. Yes, I did. Way back in the day. I had all kinds of things. I played a color-coded card game with people that day. I'm partially colorblind. I can't see certain shades of magenta, which is around the purple range. And I played this game, which was a guessing game, and just guessed these colors. I couldn't see the difference between them, and I won almost every time. I also told many coworkers and friends and people that I was going to win that day, and then I won that day. And I know some people are watching this and they're completely skeptical and think that's all a coincidence. I'm not here to convince anybody of anything, but that is my story. I've made several videos about it and find that type of stuff really interesting. Hello, Timothy. Nice to see you again. Lovely Lace. Nice to see you too. Thank you so much. Let me know in the chat down here, where are you guys from? Where are you from? And yeah, what will you do if and when you win the lottery? Because it absolutely is possible if you play. Atlanta, Michigan, Charlotte, North Carolina. Yes. Estonia. Oh my gosh. Hello in Estonia, and thank you for joining. Maryland. Hello, Del Taco. Belgium. I love Belgium. Two people from Belgium. I'm winning. Lori, you might, hey, Lori, if you are winning, I hope you are also coming onto this podcast, because I'm going to want to interview you rather soon. When you had the dream of winning, how often did you play before you won? from England. Thank you so much for your question. When I had the dream of winning, how often did I play? I played rather consistently. I played at that time, the game where I was living was 2 times a week. The Powerball was 2 times a week. I would play usually 2 times a week, sometimes 1 time a week, but definitely usually at least once per week, rather consistently, but not tons of tickets, just what I could afford, which at that time was usually 1 ticket at a time, because I was working at a gas station for a little over minimum wage, which so I didn't have very much extra money to be playing the lottery, but I did play from time to time, and it was fun. And I was constantly selling tickets as well because I worked at this gas station. So by selling the tickets, it was on my mind oftentimes. So I did play rather often. Let's see. I'm from Jamaica. Well, hello in Jamaica, Argentina as well. Awesome. So happy to catch you on this live. I'm the next big lottery winner. Blanca Tora. Hello. Thank you so much. How did you not get discouraged when manifesting a win for a while? Destiny C. Destiny. So I get this question a lot. How do you, were you discouraged when you played prior to winning? And, how did that feel? And for me, I can't speak for every lottery winner I've ever met and interviewed, and it's been quite a few of them on this channel. But for me, before I won the lottery, when I didn't win, all the times I played before and didn't win, I wasn't that discouraged. I just felt like it's, if it's meant to be, if it's going to happen, if you believe in that type of thing, which I do, then it will happen. I just kept the faith that, if it's not today, then another day. I'll just play. I have fun with it. Be grateful for what I had, and just kept playing. And that's how I felt anyway. I can't speak for everybody, but do you have advice for us? CLM. Yes, absolutely. What exactly would you want? What do you want advice with exactly? Let me know. I would definitely am happy to answer any questions here. How long did it take to receive your winnings, Eric Hartman? Excuse me. Eric, thank you so much for your question. So for me, I'd have to look at the exact timeline, but I think for most people in the United States, every place is different actually, but in the United States, I believe it's right around 4 to 6 weeks, right around that range of things. But, there are different factors that can factor into it, such as, if you win with a group, for example, then it might take longer. You have to figure out how to claim it. Do you feel the Powerball was suspicious? I feel it was. Shannon Hall. Shannon, thank you so much. I think you're referring to this massive $2 billion jackpot that was recently won in the state of California by a single ticket, but there was a delay. In the drawing. It was supposed to take place, and there was this delay, and it took place the next day. And so there's all these people, I've received comments on here, but there are quite a few people that think was suspicious. So I think that's what you are referring to. Now, I recently interviewed a former CEO of the lottery in one of the states in the United States, and I asked him this exact question. This interview is coming soon, and his insights were very, very interesting, because there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes. And when you get a jackpot that is 2 billion and you have all of this media exposure, I mean, they are getting flooded. They have all of this information that they have to siphon into this lottery and make sure that it's credible, and make sure that there is credibility in the game. They have to receive all of the numbers, all of the results before they can do the drawing, because what if they were to do the drawing, they haven't even received all the results? I mean, that would be extremely suspicious. So there's a lot of logistics behind the scenes, and it has happened before. It's not unprecedented. So after he explained it, it made me feel better about it. But I look forward to releasing that interview soon, and we'll see what you think. I remember playing like the extra jackpot. I would partner with someone. I won $2 scratch off ticket, $500 on my birthday. Oscar, that is awesome. Congratulations. Have you seen the 165 people who won EuroMillions yesterday? Alex Wild asks. Alex, thank you for your question. No, I have not. I will definitely look into that. That's incredible. Hello from the Philippines, Harry Pingle. Harry, hello in the Philippines. The Philippines is another place where there are recently like over 100 people that won the lottery on a single night. It's incredible. I covered a story about that. I'll put that below after this live is over. What do you do if you win $2 billion jackpot? Camilo Portillo. Well, that's a good, that's a, an excellent question. $2 billion. It's the $2 billion question. What would you do with that kind of money? I mean, I can think of 2 billion things. I mean, one of the first things, though, for most people, I think would probably be to go under the radar. In the state of California in the United States, they can't claim it privately. So they have to put their name out there and claim it publicly. But if you win that much money, I mean, even the cash half right away option is right around $1 billion. And then you have taxes and so forth. But it's an insane amount of money. And I think that it's probably in their best interest to go under the radar. And then after that, to come onto this podcast and to talk to me. And I can, of course, blur their face and disguise their voice. So hopefully, whoever is watching, hopefully whoever that is will come onto this podcast. How did you win the lottery, Wendell Lee, the spammer? Oh, we have a spammer in the chat. I won the lottery by selling the ticket to myself. That is how I won the lottery back in the day. I was working at a gas station as a gas station clerk, and that's how that happened. Let's see. I won two $500 scratchers in one day. Different stories after hearing. Earth Goody. That is amazing. Congratulations to you. Hi, Tim. Do you still remember the quick pick numbers that you won your ticket on? Del Taco, thank you very much. I don't remember the exact numbers. I think the Powerball number was 10. I don't know. I could look though. Hello, Tim. You make a great job. Please keep going with the interviews. I learn a lot. Excuse me. Diego, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I greatly appreciate it. I love interviewing people. I'm so passionate about it. It's a labor of love. And I have a few interviews that I've already done that are pre-recorded, that are being edited as we speak. So you can watch for those coming soon, including with the contest queen who took over. She has a lot of Helen Hadsel's materials, if you are familiar with her. But her story is really interesting. Also, the lead scientist, one of the lead scientists in the world for consciousness and precognition and that sort of thing. It's very interesting. And also a CEO of the lottery, former CEO, a person who was in charge of the lottery in one of the states in the United States. And his insights were extremely interesting. So, and I have some more coming up with lottery winners, of course, and people that have overcome the odds in life. Hello, Tim. Thanks for sharing today. Thank you so much. The poor spend most on tickets. Matt Burns. But anybody, Matt Burns, thanks for your comment. Anybody has a chance, whether you're wealthy or poor. If you play the lottery, you know, there is a chance. But I always say to never spend more than you can afford, because if you can't afford to lose $2 on a ticket, then don't spend $2. But if you can afford and you want a chance, then play, because it can be fun, you know, and you have a chance to win, and that can be life-changing. So what do you think about millionaires and billionaires whom have decided not to leave any of their money to their kids? No reason at all. Well, I don't know. That's kind of a, you know, without knowing a person's situation, it's kind of a vague area. If I don't know someone, it's hard to comment on them with just knowing that about them. Who is the leading scientist on consciousness? Where can I see the interview on him? Timothy, Chris Bennett. Chris, thank you so much. Dean Radin is the name. The interview has not been released yet, but watch for that coming soon. So true. Everyone can win. Lovely Lace. Yes, no question. Just a fan of yours and your show. Carly, thank you so much. It's nice to see you today. What does the equation on the wall behind you mean? So I get this question quite a bit. This is actually, I wish I have to come up maybe you guys can help me in the chat. I have to come up with a really clever explanation for this. But first of all, I love Einstein. I love so many things that he said. It's just he's very inspiring for so many reasons. I could go on and on with his quotes, but the equation actually was here when I came here. It was already here. I did not have this painted. It was here. So I did not put this in, but symbolically with Einstein, I kept it because I feel that he's he's obviously a very smart individual, but I think it coincides with a lot of things that we talk about on this podcast. I love Einstein too. Gabby Arth, big fan of your show, Mr. Timothy. Fernando, thank you so much. Ever consider just meeting up and hanging out with your favorite celebs or fellow lottery winners, the uber successful? I would love that. And it would probably make for a cool video. I mean, it'd probably be something people would want to see. So thank you so much for the suggestion. And, I'm waiting for the day, and this is going to happen, whether this happens this week or next year or in a few weeks, this is going to happen. One of you out there that are watching this podcast somebody is going to win the lottery. They're going to win a jackpot, 1 million, a few million, hundreds of millions, maybe over $1 billion. Somebody is going to win. And that was inspired by this podcast. And I'm going to interview you on this podcast. I am so excited for that day. And I think that should be something. The reason I bring this up is I think that should be something in person. And I believe it's going to happen someday. Okay, here we go. Oh, good. I caught your live. Yay. Betty Jane, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to win. I've known it for a long time. Tico. I keep telling. Okay, it's me, Timothy. Lovely Lace. I hope so. It could be. It might be. I'll be here for that interview. I play the enjoyment always. Yes, indeed, Tim. I love. Okay. Let's get to another question here. What was your initial purchase as a lottery winner? Well, it should have been something for my lungs here because I'm having an issue today. But first of all, thank you so much for your question. My initial purchase was a video game system. I was 21 years old. So I was trying to put myself through college. I wasn't wealthy by any means, and I couldn't afford this video game system. So I got the latest, greatest video game system, which was an N64. Oh my gosh, I am dating myself, but it was awesome because I couldn't afford it before. I need toilet paper, please. Oh, well, somebody in the chat needs some toilet paper. Hi, Tim. I hit 610 at French Kino yesterday for a $20 Euro bet. Okay. Congratulations, Julian. Congratulations. That's awesome. Have you had a viewer win after finding your channel yet? Heather asks. So, Heather, we were just talking about this. It's quite possible. In fact, I've had people write in, but I have not interviewed someone yet that has won from being inspired by this channel. And that day is coming. I can feel it. I'm so excited about it. How much was the N64? Asks George Best. I believe it was probably, I'm just guessing, $200 something. I don't know. But I mean, it's something I couldn't afford. I mean, that would be like my whole paycheck when I was working at the gas station. So how do you set boundaries with people after you won to make sure you kept your winnings? Blanca Tora, thank you so much for your question. So that's something I had to learn how to do to set boundaries. And it became initially very difficult to trust people because people did come out of the woodwork and most people were supportive and positive. So it was mostly overwhelmingly positive, but some people, did just keep asking and asking and asking for money. I helped a lot of people to the extent that I could. I certainly did. And it was difficult. I definitely had to set boundaries. I had to learn how to do that. So my mom bought me the first N64 at $100, or not dollars, but 100 Canadian. Oscar, that's awesome. Was it hard to say no? Yes, it was. It was hard to say no to certain people. It certainly was. especially when it's people that you love and care about. But, one of the first things I did after winning was before even turning in the ticket, was get financial advisors. And I think that's why I strongly advise myself on this channel for anyone watching this. If you win the lottery, one of the first things you do, I think, is to get a team of or at least a financial advisor. I mean, there are a lot of factors like how much you win, where you live. I mean, there's a lot of factors that vary upon whether you want or need a financial advisor. But for anyone that wins over $1 million, I mean, it's usually a good idea. Timothy, when you select the cash option, you paid taxes on the on the front or after you get the money. Angel de la Rosa. Thank you so much for your question. So the taxes are usually, I believe most of them are after you get the money. Well, it depends where you live. First of all, if you are in the United States, I mean, it's viewed as income. You have a huge federal income tax. Is very substantial, and then depending upon the state that you live in, most states tax as well. I think positive and feel like you won. Thank you so much for your support. I really, really appreciate it. What do you suggest if I had a premonition about numbers and they came out in a quick pick? Well, that would be crazy if you had a premonition about numbers and they came out in a quick pick. I mean, that would be incredible. I would suggest, just, I mean, that would be really, really, really surreal. Since you won so early in life, do you feel like there were lessons you may have missed? Lisa D. That's a really interesting question, Lisa. I don't think I've ever been asked that. I don't know, because I've just lived the life that I've lived, so I just know the experience that I've lived. So I don't know if there's anything that I missed, but that's really interesting. I mean, certainly I had to grow up very quickly to an extent, or at least it changed a lot of things socially. It changed how it changed so many things. It like turned my world upside down, turned my world on its head at the age of 21. So keep playing. Well, I will if I have a dream. I will if I'm inspired. Thank you so much. It is possible to win twice. I mean, people do it all the time. No taxes on the lotto, and you can remain anonymous in South Africa. Moss. That is incredible. Good for South Africa. Bronx, New York. La Vida. Hello. Thank you for joining. Okay. And here we go. Well, hopefully I am not going to cough myself into oblivion on this live live chat. This could be the last video I ever post, and it's live, and you guys are here to see it. I had an itchy palm about a week ago, then 199 before the last interview came out where he was talking about it being related. Heather. So Heather, I think you're talking about, so I just released an interview a couple of days ago with Rick Wallace, who is a dream home winner. He's also won multiple lottery prizes, but it's a very interesting video if you want to check that out. But he was talking about an itchy palm relating to luck and how he gets that. So I think that's what you're referring to. So thank you very much. Gargling warm salt water daily might help you with your throat. Yes, that is true, George Best. Thank you so much. I had a dream about playing slot machines, but I usually only play Mega or Powerball. Should I go to the casino tomorrow? Well, Del Taco, my advice for that is to take, first of all, people ask me for dream interpretations fairly often. And my advice almost always is to think back to what did that dream mean to you when it happened? What did that mean to you? Because almost always dreams are symbolic. They can be literal, of course, but a lot of times they are symbolic. So what did that mean to you? What did that feel like? And that usually is the answer to what you should be doing. If it's literal, then yes, go to the casino. That would be my advice. But no, of course, only spend what you can afford. Okay. Are the quick picks rigged? They seem to be the same numbers. JG. So thanks for your Thanks for your question. I personally do not. No, I mean, absolutely not. Quick picks are not rigged. I mean, I can only speak for the games that I'm familiar with here in the United States and some of the major ones around the world. But I do not believe at all that quick picks are rigged. That's how I won on a quick pick. That's how a lot of people win. More tickets win actually on quick picks than on choosing your own. But also, it correlates. At the same time, more people purchase quick picks. So there's that as well. But if it's randomly generated from a machine, then it's I don't see how that's rigged, because how do they know, first of all, who is purchasing the ticket when it's purchased, if you're talking about human beings rigging something? Tim won on a quick pick. Yes, I did. Do you have any meditation or centering exercises? Eddie EDI 2022. Thanks so much. I actually have tons of suggestions with that sort of thing, which maybe I should make a video about, because I could go on and on about that stuff. I find it very, very helpful, meditation and that sort of thing. Absolutely. Uh, if you were to win the lottery now, what would be your first purchase? That's a really interesting question. I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. I'm not really a materialistic type of person, but my first purchase would probably be something for somebody else that I care about, I suppose. Um, let's see. Do you still buy tickets occasionally? GML. Occasionally I do, but not very often, but I will if something inspires me. Absolutely. Do you still do Muay Thai? Jaden, thank you so much for your question. I actually do Muay Thai. For people that are not familiar, it's a martial art, and I love it. I'm so passionate about it, and it's challenging mentally and physically. And yeah, I absolutely love it. I broke a toe a while back, teeping someone. If you know what that is, it's a type of kick, but that's healed now. So thankfully, imagination becomes reality. Lovely Lace. I believe imagination is extremely powerful. I mean, that's where everything comes from. Everything. This camera I'm talking into right now, this microphone, everything was first imagined. It was imagined in our consciousness, in our sense, and then it was created. I mean, it all starts with imagination. I think there's so much power in that. Tim, when people would ask for money when you won, what were the amounts they were asking you? I'm just curious. Excuse me, curious if people were reasonable with requests. Either way, I feel it would be overwhelming. Lee Khan the Great. Thank you so much, Lee Khan. I really appreciate your question. The amounts were all over the place, and I still get asked to this day for money, so it hasn't completely ended. But the amounts are all over the place. But the fact is, if you win the lottery and you want to be financially responsible, you have to live within a means. But you don't have to. I mean, I interviewed a lottery winner who he won $250,000 before giving it all to help feed the homeless. And it's really a wonderful, wonderful story. He's Roberto Mendoza is the name. We'll put a link to that below if it's not down there already. But if you haven't watched this interview, guys, you got to check this out. He is a renowned chef, but he won the lottery a few years ago, $250,000. And he grew up in a third world country. I believe it was down in it was in South America, Venezuela, I believe. But he basically won this prize, and before that, when he grew up, he would open the tap for water and air would come out. Like, he was very, very poor. He's a kidnap victim. And Eric Beard, thank you very much for the super. Oh my gosh, that is so generous of you. Thank you very much. I'm going to get back to you in a second, Eric, but Roberto Mendoza, he's a kidnap victim, and he immigrated eventually to the United States. He learned several languages and ended up, his passion now is cooking helping feed the homeless. That is his passion. He has cooked for several presidents of the United States and movie stars, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the last few presidents. I don't know if he's cooking for Biden or not, but he cooked for Trump and Bush and some of the other ones. And I mean, he's really a renowned chef, but he won the lottery and gave it all to help feed the homeless. It's a fantastic, fantastic story. But let me get back to Eric Beard here, who just did a very generous super here. And thank you so much, Eric. He says, when I was 12, I would tell my family I was going to win one day. I had a feeling. Now I'm 43 and the feeling came back. Thanks for the channel. Thanks for the channel. After many videos, I've concluded I should definitely take the lump sum. Eric, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your super and also for your comment here. The lump sum, I completely agree with you 110%. I think almost every lottery winner is in the situation where the lump sum is in your best interest. If you're the type of person where, you think that you can't handle it and it'd be better to have annual payments so you have a set amount coming in every single year, then maybe the annuity would be in your best interest. But for most people, the lump sum makes more sense because you can make way more money on investing that than, taking half right away and investing it than taking the annuity over 29 or 30 years, because that's at such a low interest rate. But thank you, Eric, so much. And Eric, also, if you win, let's make a date right now. Please come on to this podcast. I will keep the seat ready for you. He cooks for the president. Okay, let's see where we're at here. Did you use the law? All right. Comments are going by very, very quickly. Any investment tips based on your own experience? Finally famous. Thank you so much for your comment. Investment tips. Well, I mean, the market right now is really, if you are into, thank you so much, Lee Con the Great. $5 super, very generous super, Lee Con. Thank you so much. He says, thank you for answering our questions and your videos. Well, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. It means a lot. It means the world to me. This is a labor of love, and I'm so passionate about it, and I'm so grateful for your support. Thank you so much. Investment advice was the other question here that I was trying to answer, that I was just getting to here. So, right now the market is really unstable. I think investment advice, it really depends upon what, how much you have to invest. First of all, what are your goals? I mean, there's a lot of scenarios out there. So it's hard for me to I can say that if you have $50 million, I would do X. If you have 100, I would do X. If you have 500,000, I would do X. I mean, I can say that in those scenarios, but it depends upon what your goal is, really. Because, oftentimes you want it to be diversified, but is your goal to grow the money? Is your goal to conserve it? Is your goal to live off of it? I mean, there's lots of different scenarios. What's your advice? Okay. I typed it. Okay. Back here. Eric Beard says, I typed it wrong. I mean, annuity, because I would blow it. I will come on when I win. Okay, Eric, I respect that. The annuity would still be awesome. It would still be awesome. And it's fixed. So, I mean, it would be guaranteed to be coming in. So I don't blame you if that's best for you. And I'm real curious to see what the winners in California that just won this $2.04 billion with a B jackpot, what they do. Are they going to take half right away, or the annuity over a period of years? Probably half, but it could go either way. It'll be really interesting. Best Law of Attraction book. Amanda Cherie, thank you so much for your question. So since I started this channel, I have been researching the law of attraction because I know a lot of you guys watching it are really into it. And it's very intriguing. The best book that I've personally read was, I believe it was a Napoleon Hill book. Napoleon Hill. He's very, very inspiring. What was the first thing you bought when you won? So I answered that a little bit ago, but it was a video game system. I was 21 years old and it was awesome. I heard $1 billion winner is an older Mexican guy. Well, it's quite possible, but I'm wondering where you are hearing this information because that person has not claimed it yet. So if you have insider insights into this, then we need to talk. Look me up. I have seen 2 dreams winning the lottery. Any advice? Well, my advice is what do those dreams mean to you? And what did they mean when you had those dreams? And that is my advice. Follow your intuition. What does that tell you? Maybe it's Roberto again. Maybe hey, if it's Roberto Mendoza, oh my gosh, there's a lot of hungry people that are going to be doing better. I've seen, okay, are state lotteries better than Mega Millions or Powerball? P. Wilson. So thank you so much for your question. State lotteries in the United States, I believe you're referring to the United States. So the state lotteries are, I mean, the odds are better if you believe in the odds. So in that sense, maybe they are, but the jackpots typically lower. How do you choose the numbers, Gabriella? I think do what feels best to you, because playing the lottery should be fun. It should be fun. And that's what I think is do what feels best to you. But always spend, of course, only what you can afford. Do you have any strategy tips to winning the lottery? Lemur Turk. My strategy is to, I mean, if well, first of all, I have interviewed plenty of people. Some of those people, not all of them, but some of those people strongly believe in manifestation and that sort of thing. And they believe that attributed to their win. And so that sort of thing is really interesting. My tips, basically, you have to just got here. Did you talk about hiding out? My state announces name and location. Thank you for all that you do. I Travel 33. Thank you so much, I Travel 33, for the super and for the question. I really, really appreciate it. That is so nice of you. Just got here. Did you talk about hiding out? My state announces name and location. Thank you for all that you do. So I did not talk about, well, I did a little bit, but if you win a major jackpot and your state requires you to come out publicly, I mean, it depends upon how much you win, but I think that for a lot of people, you might want to go under the radar, and there are ways to do that. I mean, you can take your name so it's not in the public record for different things. I mean, you can do that. You can, I mean, it really depends. Every state has different privacy laws. So I would look into that. But I think here's what I think you should do. Now that I'm thinking out loud. This is live, right? But I think if you win and the state does not allow you to claim something privately, and you win, say, $50 million, $100 million, and you can't claim it privately in the United States, then my advice is to find experts who know how to go under the radar, because every state is different and there are ways to do that, even if you have to come out publicly. I mean, you see these people that win mass amounts of money in media stories. You see these people and then they disappear. Well, how did they do that? Well, there's a way. One could disguise themselves. Yosh, why show? Yes. And I actually just produced a video a few days ago. For one of the things I do on this channel is I cover lottery news, some of the most compelling, crazy lottery news stories from all around the world. And one of the stories that just took place in China was this person that claimed he had a mascot donned. So he basically had this mascot created where it was this yellow mascot, and I believe it was yellow, but he had this created, and he claimed it publicly because he had to, wearing this costume, because he didn't want his wife and children to know that he had won. It was so, I mean, yes, you can wear a disguise. Is the law of attraction more harmful than helpful to those who gamble? The real V. My opinion is no, it's not more harmful. I don't know anything negative about the law of attraction, but if I respect your question, though, I'd love to hear where you're coming from with that. Did you pick your numbers or quick pick? Kenneth Lemon. For myself, it was a quick pick. I bought one tonight for a draw and one an inflatable lazy spa. Elizabeth Warren. Oh, I love that inflatable lazy spa. Who doesn't want that? Meaning promoting gambling addiction. The real V. So to clarify. Yeah, so gambling addiction, I think, is a very I haven't really addressed that on this channel because I try to keep things positive, but I also try to encourage people to play, affordably, to play responsibly, to only spend what you can afford is very important. You don't want to get yourself in trouble playing the lottery or gambling in anything. I think gambling and the lottery, it can be positive, but you have to play with what you can afford only and have fun with it. And you do have a chance to win if you play. That's for sure. But like anything in life, there has to be, you have to have balance. Did you know the day you would win? Glory to God in the highest. Thank you so much for your question. I really, really appreciate it. I had some crazy experiences the day that I won and really believed, believed that I was going to win on that day. So many would argue that yes, I did. Are you still trying to manifesting wins? I just won once. Okay. Hey, this is scrolling by very quickly here. When you meet new people and they ask you what you do for a living, are you open about the lottery? Joan, thank you so much. That's an interesting question. I don't normally, I don't usually bring it up, but I do from time to time now because I'm doing this podcast and interviewing lottery winners. So it's more relevant. But prior to this, no, of course I wouldn't really say that because it's one thing that happened to me. But now it's more relevant because I'm interviewing other people and making videos on the topic, of course, and covering lottery news on here. I'm glad we're doing lives now, Mandy Ward. Well, thank you so much, Mandy. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you like it. This is sort of a new medium for me. I think this is the third live video I've done, but I haven't done very many. So it's kind of an experiment still. So I'm glad to hear the feedback, Mandy. Thank you so much. Can you get any of the money up front after winning Powerball or Mega Millions jackpot? Antonio Wilson asks that question. So if you win, please go get yourself some water, Debbie. Oh, thank you, Debbie. I have some. Oh, Debbie, you're a lifesaver. Money up front. Can you get money up front? So you have to know. The answer to that question is you have to, when you turn in a lottery ticket, I'm talking about the United States at least, when you turn in a lottery ticket, they don't give you like a cool $1 million off the top. They give you the whole prize. And you have to wait typically a few days to get that. Okay, here we go. Yes, from Israel. Thank you so much for your support from Israel. Thank you for watching. Since you have a vivid dream, did you live in expectations? You thought that each round is coming now, or you just let it go and live in a situation that is already happening? So I think you're asking about my mindset when I won the lottery. Question from Israel. And I did believe that it's going to happen. I did. And, some people think that's coincidence and a lot of people think that it's not, but that's what happened. Hey, Timothy, I had a dream about winning the lottery jackpot. Now I'm seeing 888-777 and other numbers signs. Brian Woody. Brian, thanks so much. That's really interesting. The interview I just released a couple days ago, the guy was really into numerology. I find that type of thing is very interesting. Tim, I love you. Bent over. I love you too. Thank you so much. That's so nice of you. I really appreciate your support, Ben. How long does it take to get your check from Powerball and Mega Millions? Lamar Turk. I believe it takes right around 2 weeks, I believe. I believe, to get the money after you turn in the ticket. So I believe that's about what it takes in the United States. What's your most expensive car you've ever purchased? King Joey the Ape. King Joey, thank you so much. I've never really been into material possessions, King Joey. My most expensive car that I've ever purchased was a new Audi. Okay, I enjoy your videos, Posh Girl. Thank you so much, Posh Girl. Thank you for your support. What are the best tips you learned from other winners? Helen, thank you very much for your question. Thank you very much for your question. My best tips from other winners. Quite a few winners. I find it really interesting. Quite a few winners that I have met and interviewed on this channel strongly believed that they were going to win before it happened. And so that's one thing that not everybody though. I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people. And so I find that very, very interesting and intriguing when that happens. And I've met quite a few people that were in that situation. When I was 27, I had a very rare type of cancer with a survivor rate of 7 and survived. And then I understood odds are not important for the one winning. So Joan is saying that she does not believe in the odds. And I agree with you, Joan. I do not believe in the odds either. You know, if you look at it as I'm going against all these people, there are however many millions of people that I'm competing against. I mean, you can look at it that way. You can look at it that way and you can still win. But I mean, I don't think that's very healthy to look at it that way. And a lot of people that I've interviewed did not think that way, that won. And I certainly didn't. I always thought I had a chance. I mean, if you don't believe you have a chance to win, why are you playing? You have to ask yourself that because you're spending money on it. Do you believe in magic? I do in the sense of, well, first of all, I mean, David Copperfield has some mean tricks. You have to admit that. But I think you're referring to the magic in the metaphysical sense and that sort of thing, which I find that all very, very interesting. I am so interested in premonitions, precognition, manifestations, very interesting. All that stuff is very interesting to me. So I interview people on those topics on this channel in addition to lottery winners. Did you help your family after your win, Antonio Wilson? Yes, I did, Antonio. Thank you for your question. Are scratch-offs worth playing? Solomon Heyman. So Solomon, thank you so much. The scratch-offs, I mean, if you're, I mean, they can be fun. They can be fun. So, and I've interviewed people that have won big on them. So that can happen too. I interviewed one person that won cash for life. Like, I think it was $1,000 a week, not dollars, but 1,000 Canadian per week for life. Another person that won 10 million. So yeah, I mean, people do win that way sometimes. Good question, Betty Jane. Where's Betty Jane's question here? Looking forward to your interview. Tim, do you have, where is Betty Jane's question? Sending you healing, Tim. Hope your throat heals. Helen, thank you so much, Helen. You should have seen me a few days ago. I couldn't even, oh, it was horrible. This is so much better. I'm almost better. I'm going to be better soon. I really appreciate your kind words. Have you? Okay. Thanks for your answer, but you didn't understand me. I wanted to know, since your dream up until your win, before you won, did you expect it each time? Guy Yosef asks that from Israel. I think that, I mean, I didn't feel the same each time. I think the day that I actually won, I felt a little different. I mean, I've never really, I think, verbalized that or thought about it that much, but I think the day that I won, I did feel a little bit different, but I always felt like it was going to happen. Like it was going to happen before it did, after having the dream about it. Because of the dream, it convinced me that it was going to happen, and then it did. And some people think that's coincidence, and a lot of people think that it's not. Do you know Neville Goddard? Yes, I do know Neville Goddard, not personally, but I am familiar with the Neville's work. I find it very interesting. Positive answers to negative questions. Yes, positivity, I think, is very, very important. How do you give back? How do you give back to the community other than podcast? The real V. Well, I mean, I just try to be a good person. I've done a lot of things to help community and different organizations over the years. I'm not personally into Neville. Do you think? Okay. I dream I won the lottery when I was 15. I'm experiencing the dream now. I'm 27. Kevin Marshall. Well, Kevin Marshall, if you if you have won the lottery, or if you do, come on, we have to talk. We have to talk on this podcast. Let's make it happen. What happened the day you won? What were the small things? Asks Eric Zaduri. I might be pronouncing that incorrectly. So the small things, well, I mean, there's so many things. I felt like on the day that I won, I really strongly felt like it was going to happen. I mean, I think from the time I woke up, I felt a sense of, I mean, it was on my mind. It certainly was on my mind all day. And I was telling coworkers and friends. And then when I saw the ticket and I saw the numbers, it reaffirmed my belief. I was like, oh my gosh, I really feel that this is the winner. And I said that even when I got off work, and I told people and coworkers, and I played cards, and I hashed this story out earlier, so I'm not going to repeat it, but, and then it happened. And, some people do think that's coincidence, and a lot of people think that it's not. Do you stay in your hometown after you win, or did you move right away? Brian Woody. I don't know how long I was there, but I did move, because I couldn't even go to a grocery store without people knowing me and knowing my story. And at the time I was pretty camera shy, and I didn't really enjoy that type of attention. I wasn't allowed the option to remain anonymous. Now I love it. I went to college. I mean, I was trying to put myself through college prior to winning. And then after winning, I still went back to college and studied broadcast news and film and that sort of thing. And I love it. I love the entertainment industry and that sort of thing, and news, of course. At time, I think the lottery is rigged. What do you think, Tim? Lamar Turk. Well, you're asking the wrong. I don't think the lottery is rigged, but it depends upon where you live and what is happening. I mean, there are scams that have been uncovered all over the world, including in the United States. I just interviewed somebody. This interview is coming out soon. It's a very, very interesting interview with someone that stopped I believe is the largest scam in the United States. He stopped this, he and his team. So there are scams that take place, but generally speaking, I think the lottery is not something to fear. It's very legitimate, especially when you're talking about the big games, the state-run games, the Powerball, the Mega Millions, the EuroMillions. These games are very, very legitimate. Even look over in Spain right now. In Spain, I don't know if anybody's from Spain that's watching this, but the largest Christmas lottery in the world is about to take place in Spain. It's a Christmas tradition they've had for I don't know how many years, tons of years. Okay, cool. Brian Woody, yes. You went to school for broadcasting. Why did you not work for the news and be the lotto specialist, or restart your film company to uber successful? And so I could have worked with news. When you start out in the news industry, you have to go to a very small market, like meaning a very small town. And at the time I didn't want to do that. So I made a few films, including a feature-length documentary on ghosts in the state where I was living at the time. But it turned out to be a worldwide exploration about some of the most haunted places on the planet. So that's what I ended up doing. The last Powerball had me questioning its legitimacy, honestly. Charles Robb. Charles, thank you so much. I addressed this a little bit earlier, but I just interviewed an expert on this. This interview is coming soon, but you're not alone. A lot of people do feel that way about that. But after hearing what this expert had to say, I believe it was legitimate. They have to have accountability and in maintaining the integrity of the game. And I think that was the holdup in this case. Thank you, Lee Khan the Great. Have you continued having precognitive dreams? P.S. P.S. Have you? Oh, that's it. Okay. Well, yes, I have. I have had so many. The lottery dream is the most notable one that a lot of people are familiar with on this channel, but I have had so many dreams about things before they've happened in real life. And I find that field so interesting. It's so incredibly interesting. So thank you so much for your question. Oh, here we go. MC, definitely I will play El Gordo de Navidad. Yes, El Gordo. El Gordo is the name of this Spanish lottery, means the fat one. but it is just, I mean, I believe they give away billions with a B of, I mean, it's just an immense amount of money, and then among millions of people. So it's an incredible lottery, and it's happening. It's an annual lottery that's happening this month. Nice haircut, Lucky Orion. Thank you so much. I think I need another haircut, but I really appreciate it. You the compliment on my do. Did you? Okay. How did you create the feeling that you won the lottery? Yosu, I may be pronouncing your name incorrectly. So I mean, I had this dream about it, as many of you know, and that's how it convinced me that it's going to happen, because it wasn't the first dream in my life that has come true. And so when I have that type of dream, it convinced me that it was going to happen, and that's what happened for me. How long did the wire transfer take? I think it was pretty quick. Was there a lot of time in between? Blah blah. Did you daydream the lottery before you? Okay. Did you daydream about winning the lottery before the dream night? So, yes, I did. I was selling tickets, so it was often on my mind. So, yes, I did. How many days a week do you train shoulders, Johnny Savoy? Thank you so much, Johnny. Yeah, I mean, all the time. I'm on the juice. On the juice. I need to be on the throat juice though. Get my throat figured out. I appreciate your question. Have you heard of kava, the Fiji Islands traditional drink? It brings the brainwaves down to the theta state. Does this make any sense to you? Yes, that does make sense. I have not heard of that drink, but I'm familiar with the theta state, and that's very, very interesting. You're in the promised land, Tim. Thanks for sharing your experiences. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate your support. It means so much to me. 2 years ago, I won. This is Andrew Morales. 2 years ago, I almost won 3,700,000, and only got 4 numbers out of the 6. If I got the whole 6 numbers, I'd be in California now. Well, hey, it can happen. It can be crazy. It can be so crazy. I mean, think about it. Your life, if you win mass amounts of money, millions of dollars, which people do all the time. It could be you watching this, any of you. I mean, it happens. Think about how that might change your life. I mean, it could be incredible. And even if you don't win the lottery, regardless of that, I mean, life is like a roller coaster, man. You are like, it could be, I have no idea where I'll be in 5 years. Where will you be? I mean, people just don't know. It's crazy. It's an adventure. And including win the lottery, because if you play the lottery, you do have a chance. I went to Hicks. What's your favorite film and what got you into film? Antonio Wilson. Thank you, Antonio, for that question. My favorite film of all time, I think, is The Shining. If you're familiar with that, I love the horror genre. And I love all genres of film, but I do love The Shining. I think Stanley Kubrick was a genius. I mean, he literally was a genius. His IQ is through the roof. And from the sound design to everything, to the different ways of interpreting that film, that's one of my favorites of all time. I actually once cut down my bathroom door with an axe for a parody scene on The Shining. It's somewhere out there on YouTube. You can Google it if you're interested, or maybe I'll post it here on this channel sometime. Red rum. That's right. King Joey the Ape. You know it. I don't like the term law of attraction. It's all about neuroplasticity and intentional creation. Law of attraction usually starts from a place of, it's scrolling by so fast, lack and hope, as opposed to intentionally creating your life. Okay, well, Johnny, I respect your opinion. Did you appear in a French TV show I heard of? Do you recall the name? Finally Famous wrote that. I did appear in a French television documentary. I don't recall the name offhand, but yes, I did. But I can also say that it was, well, I don't want to go into that on here, but I definitely have some opinions on that, but hopefully I can share sometime. What do you advise to the new rich person not to lose his or her money? Omar, I advise if you win the lottery, not to lose your money. I mean, most people that win the lottery are not accustomed to dealing with wealth or mass amounts of money. I mean, most people that win the lottery are not already wealthy. So if you're not accustomed to that, you're not going to know like how to invest or any of that unless you have an education and a background and that sort of thing. So, I mean, my advice is to seek financial advisors. And I'm actually producing a video right now about how to do that, because a lot of people have questions about that. Like, how can I trust somebody? How am I mean, there's so many questions about that type of thing. And so I'm making a video about that. That'll be out soon. Have you gone traveling a lot since winning? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I've traveled quite a bit. Thank you so much for your question. Do you recommend any investing field with the new money? I think I'm not a financial advisor, but I think it depends upon how much you win and what you have to invest and what your goals are. So there's a lot of different scenarios. So I sorry to give a vague answer, but I don't want to give financial advice without knowing a person's situation. Was there a lot of time in between your dream and winning? There was a few months. MMG, thank you so much for your question. Mandy Ward, thank you so much for the super. That is so unbelievably generous of you. I really, really appreciate it. That means the world to me. Thank you so much, Mandy. What's the most, okay, what would you different, okay, these are going by very, very quickly here, but I do want to I have a couple more questions here and then I need to get going, guys. But Tim, you all seem, is this because you find the topic okay. Jerry K. Tim, come back here, Jerry K. I mean, you're here, but these comments are scrolling by very quickly. So I think where you're going with that, I just saw the first part of the question. I'm sorry. It's scrolling very quickly. You said that I seem, I think you used the word standoffish with the law of attraction, but I find it, the law of attraction manifestation very, very interesting. And I really believe that there's a lot of power in our imagination and creation in our consciousness. There's so much more happening than we know or in our normal senses. I mean, it's just so intriguing, and I could talk about it forever. If I seem like I'm a little bit standoffish, it might be because, I know that some people that are watching this are really into it and some people are not. And I'm just trying to be mindful of all the people watching this. But if you want to ask me direct questions about the law of attraction and manifestation, I'm certainly happy to answer them because I find it very, very fascinating. I've done an immense amount of research on it, especially since, not prior to having my dream or winning the lottery or anything like that. I had no idea what the law of attraction or manifestation even was back then. I had no idea. But I find it's a very interesting topic. What would you do differently if you won today? I think that was a question. I would, I get this question a lot too about whether I have regrets about anything that's happened in my life. And I certainly don't think everything's been perfect. There's been challenges. I think with anything in life, there can be challenges. It's a lot of, if you win the lottery, there are challenges. Those are challenges that a lot of people would like to experience. So I understand that. But, it wasn't always completely easy. I mean, for a while, I felt guilty for having even won the lottery because there's so many more people that I wanted to help than I could help. And the people kept asking even that I loved and cared about, and I couldn't help everybody that I wanted to if I wanted to be responsible. But I think I just got off on a tangent here. In 64, they were for days still. Okay. You should do a manifestation law of attraction episode of your podcast from your point of view, Jerry K. I love that. Jerry K, I love that. I love your suggestion. And I will do that. I promise you I will do that for you. So thank you so much. What has the financial freedom made you realize about life now? Oh, Lee Khan the Great. Thank you so much. In Savannah, Kizjan, thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate it. That is so generous of you. Thank you for the supers. That is so nice. I greatly appreciate your support. Thank you. What is the best advice for someone to manifest a win on the lottery on a scratch off? Well, I mean, I think it's probably the same as with anything, because I have met people that strongly believe in that sort of thing that have won scratch offs. So whether it's a scratch off or a different type of game, I mean, there's lots of different ways to win, right? Some, if not all of your interviews did talk a bit about law of attraction. Bianca Tora. Yes, thank you so much, Bianca. Most of the people I've interviewed are very much into that topic for sure. I had a dream of winning 10 million. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Tell us about another fruition dream you had, Guy Yosef. So I had a dream. I could go, I could talk all day about dreams that have come true. I find it so unbelievably interesting. One of them that I had that comes to mind, that's a short dream because we're running out of time here, is it's most of the dreams I've had are positive, but they're not all positive. And this particular one was not. It was a car accident that I was in, this horrible car accident. It was the day before I was supposed to go on this road trip. I mean, the weather looked fine. I thought I was going to be fine. I went to sleep. I had this dream that I was in this horrible car accident. And I almost didn't go, but I did not listen to my intuition that time. And I went anyway. And then I ended up in this 10-car pileup. I was in the middle of it. It was not my fault. I was just sort of like, I was at the place where it would have happened. It wasn't my fault. It was just where I was at the time. And, I was okay, but it was this really horrible car accident. So, but I did have a dream about it the day before. I absolutely love watching your videos and interviews. Thank you for sharing all of your knowledge. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate your support. Do you remember what it felt like the first time you won millions? Yes, it felt like really surreal. It felt like a dream I couldn't wake up from. It was crazy. It was crazy. Tim, thanks for making this channel. Can you talk about sudden wealth syndrome? So I made a video, Karina, thank you so much for your question. I made a video about sudden wealth syndrome when I first started this channel. It's a psychological term for people that are not familiar. I had no idea what it was. And I heard some of the, symptoms, if you want to use that term, but some of the, what goes into sudden wealth syndrome. And I was like, well, I feel like that is happening to me. And it happens to other people that have won the lottery. Not everybody though, of course, but one of the symptoms is this sense of guilt for having lots of money that other people around you do not have. And I was experiencing that for a while, but there are other factors as well. Tim is a good looking guy. Harry, well, thank you so much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. That's really kind of you. Do you think you're do you think you're still in a dream and all this is just a dream? That's a really funny question. You know what? I mean, not funny in the literal sense, but there's all this stuff about the Matrix and that we're living in a simulation and all this stuff in our pop culture right now. And it's really interesting, especially when you think about consciousness and the fact that we don't even know what time is. I mean, science doesn't really know time. I just interviewed, it's not out yet, it'll be out soon, but one of the lead scientists in the world studying consciousness and precognition and that sort of thing and manifestation. And it's very, very interesting. And, one can argue, I'm not speaking on behalf of this scientist by any means, not at all, but one can argue that, there's something to the dream state for sure. What about my dream winning 10 million? Am I going to win or not? Well, I certainly hope so. It's possible if you play. I wish I could give you what do you think? If you do, you come onto this podcast. It's definitely possible if you play. I mean, that's what I can say. It's totally possible. Man, I can't wait to see that video when it comes out. Yes, I'm not sure what. Okay. Tim researching all of this a lot across the story of the Brazilian lottery. That's very interesting. World News, the man who have won hit the 16 times in a row. Luckiest hero. So Luckiest Hero is asking about this story of a legendary Brazilian psychic named Paula Costa, who was featured in World Weekly News, I believe in the 80s. This person won the lottery 16 times in a row, according to this publication. And that's a very interesting story. I'm going to look into that a little further. Thank you so much for your question. Hey, Tim, with your lottery winnings, have you made great investments and is it still paying off for you? Johnny E. Johnny, thank you so much for your questions. I mean, I have personally not made the investments, but financial advisors have, and I'm extremely grateful. So I can say that for sure. How are you doing, Mr. Timothy Schultz? I am doing okay, Mr. Michael Milky. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining today. I really appreciate it. I've heard about Paula Costa. Yes. Howdy, David Coons. You bring me happiness and enthusiasm. I don't know why. Omar. Well, Omar, you are bringing me happiness right now. Thank you so much for your kind words. Thoughts on Elon Musk, the real V? Well, Elon Musk, I mean, he is a powerful, powerful man. Look at what is happening with Twitter right now. Look at that. I'm going to leave the conversation there. But I mean, you have to respect what he's doing with SpaceX and so forth. Grateful for you, Tim. Grateful for you as well, Johnny. Thank you so much. Did you visualize yourself winning the lottery? If yes, what situation did you visualize? Well, Jay, I don't know if you're a male or female, but Jay, what situation did I visualize? I sold tickets all the time. So I visualized what it would feel like to have won the lottery, what it would feel like, what others people would think of me, what I would think of myself, what it would feel like to win. And I visualized that because I was selling tickets all the time. And I was convinced that it was probably going to happen because of this dream that I had. But thanks for your question. Thanks for your time, Lee Khan the Great. Thank you so much for your time and thanks for your support. 2 months ago, I almost won 153 million, missed by 2 numbers. Oh my gosh, that's an incredible amount of money, 153 million euro. Tim, appreciate 24/7. Thank you for your podcast and insights. When is your book coming out, dude? Johnny Savoya. Johnny, I have to get on top of that. Thank you so much for your question. I'm at the point now where it's just like, I mean, I put it to the side because my passion is this podcast. I put almost all of my free time into this podcast and this YouTube channel because I love it. And I mean, if you want to succeed, I'm so passionate and I put my time into this, but the book is absolutely a priority. And I know a lot of people want to read it. So I'm determined to find a way to make that happen. So hopefully within the next year. I just want to say your channel rocks. I love your videos. Your content is great. Thank you so much, Tanner. Thank you so much. You rock. And I appreciate your support. Does all the money go to one bank? So I think you're talking about if you win the lottery, does all the money go to a bank? The money goes to, I mean, it depends upon where you live, but they'd probably put it wherever you want them to. But my advice is to put it initially, at least in a brokerage account, something that's insured, but that's the United States. Different countries have different rules. Do you have a regular job? This is my job right here. You're looking at it, MMG. Thanks for your question. Did you play the same numbers over and over again, or did you pick them randomly? I used computer-generated quick picks because I didn't have a dream about numbers. I had no sense of certain numbers meaning anything to me at the time. I just felt like, it takes one to win, and computer-generated quick pick is how I played usually. LOL, Cash App. When your dad knocked on your door and woke you up in the morning, you won. Do you remember what you were dreaming about? Luckiest man alive. Yes, I do. I do absolutely remember what I was dreaming about. I had a dream that represented the end of something, and that's probably what you're referring to. And I will reveal exactly what that was in an upcoming video. But I'm trying to be mindful of how I say that. So I'm not going to do that quite here, but I absolutely do remember. It's very, very vivid. Please remember, I really want to know I can participate in lottery EuroMillions, people were, okay. This person is asking, many people were woken up to learn that they have won. What do you think of this? Many people were woken up. That's really interesting. I've never really thought about that people were woken up to learn that they have won. I interviewed one person that won 1 million from EuroMillions a few years ago. She's from Northern Ireland, I believe. And she actually was up and she thought of the drawing as it was happening, but it wasn't something she would normally do. It just came to her mind and she was thinking about it. It was like in the middle of the night and she won. So that person was up, but it's interesting. What's the fanciest restaurant you've been to? Well, the fanciest restaurant I want to go to is Roberto Mendoza, which if you were here at the beginning of this live broadcast, you'll know who he is, or if you've seen that interview, but he is an incredible chef and a very interesting lottery winner. I'll put a link to that interview below. Let's see here. Tim, your answers are awesome. Lee Con the Great, you are awesome, and I really appreciate it. He talks about manifestation in dreams. I'm not okay. Okay. Please make a video concerning how I can participate in a lottery like EuroMillions, US Powerball online from Africa. Michael Milky. I will definitely try to do that, Michael. Thank you so much for this suggestion. I really appreciate that. Okay. I do have to get going, guys. I was on here. I was just going to be on here for like 20 minutes and it's turned into like an hour or something. But I love it. I could be on here for hours. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I love connecting with you guys. It means so much to me. Did anyone do a fasting win? Get a Halls. Thank you. Yeah, I definitely need something for my throat. We will miss you. I will miss you too. With the winners, who won and visualized they won. How many of them had a plan for their money like Cynthia? That's a really good question, Fola D. Thank you so much. I have not interviewed. I believe Cynthia is the only person that I've interviewed that had that might not be the case, but most people did not have a plan. I think maybe one or two of them did before winning. So some people do. Most people did not have a plan for that, but some people did. Do you play Lucky for Life? I don't play Lucky for Life, but I mean, I interviewed someone that won that game, at least the one in Canada. There's also one in New York. Thank you for your time, Brian Woody. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. I am so unbelievably appreciative. There are new interviews and videos coming soon on this channel, including a video that I'm super excited about with another lottery winner and the contest queen, as well as a video about some of the biggest lottery winners who won on Christmas. It's incredible. So watch for those soon. I'll be back here for another live here in a week or two, but I really, really appreciate your support wherever you are in the world watching. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for the supers. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll be back soon.